Have you been dreaming of getting away? Well, we know a place that will recharge your spirit. WA, Western Australia, a land where adventure awaits. Otherworldly adventures, ancient adventures, majestic, unfiltered adventures. Here in Western Australia, you can get away from the crowds, go beyond the expected, and take the road less travelled. There's plenty to choose from. Watch the sun melt into the water while strolling along a picture-perfect beach, on the back of a camel. Get a fresh perspective on life, 40 metres up in the canopy of an ancient forest. Give your taste buds a holiday, sampling the best local produce in the Margaret River wine region. Or maybe it's time you just got outside and went for a swim with these gentle giants. Go on, turn waiting into planning. Western Australia, adventure awaits.
Halo teman kumparan semuanya, apa kabar semuanya sore hari ini? Senang sekali nih kita bisa bertemu dan kurang lebih selama 1 jam dan 30 menit ke depan saya Sasha Lauders akan menemani teman-teman semuanya dalam live yang seru banget karena kita ada kolaborasi antara Kumparan dengan Tourism Western Australia. Apalagi kalau bukan live cooking class dengan tema Adventure Awaits with Chef Vincent Lim. Ngomong-ngomong tentang Australia Barat, siapa yang jadi kangen liburan? Tadi udah ngeliat videonya. Nah, tadi kita udah saksikan bersama ya video pembukanya. Kalau Australia Barat itu menawarkan banyak banget destinasi-destinasi yang seru dan menantang untuk bisa dieksplor dan juga dinikmati. Walaupun videonya tadi singkat, tapi tadi kita sempat ngeliat ya di video ada pemandangan Kings Park di kota Perth, cantik banget. Terus ada Elizabeth Key juga, ada gurun The Pinnacles di area Coral Coast Australia, dan pemandangannya ini spektakuler banget teman-teman sekalian. Tapi kalau misalnya disuruh milih, tadi aku gemes banget ngeliat di Pulau Ratness bisa foto bareng sama Kuoka. Pengen banget nggak sih? Kebayang kapan ya kira-kira nanti kita bisa menikmati itu. Jadi memang nih ya, Australia Barat ini menghadirkan banyak sekali opsi wisata dan juga atraksi yang cocok untuk segala jenis liburan. Mau perginya sendiri, sama pasangan, sama teman, sama keluarga. Pokoknya semua paket liburannya ini udah lengkap kalau berkunjungnya ke Australia Barat. Nah, tentunya buat teman-teman sekalian juga yang hari ini penasaran, selain dari ngeliat destinasi cantiknya, pasti banyak banget yang bisa kita explore. Mungkin culture-nya seperti apa, kulinernya seperti apa, apalagi buat yang hobi makan ya kan. Nah, masih seputar Australia Barat nih, kita bakal seru-seruan masak bareng dengan salah satu chef kenamaan dari Australia Barat, yaitu Chef Vincent Lim. Chef V nanti akan bergabung bersama dengan kita secara virtual dan akan ngajarin kita nih step by stepnya. Ada sajian hidangan Australia Barat yang pastinya kayaknya bakal oke banget kalau bisa kita nikmati ya. Dan aku juga pengen info buat teman-teman semuanya kalau proses live hari ini sudah sesuai dengan protokol kesehatan yang berlaku dan masing-masing kru yang bertugas termasuk aku juga sendiri telah menjalani swab antigen dengan hasil negatif. Dan teman-teman kumparan dimanapun kalian berada, jangan lupa ya, kita tetap ketatkan, kita tetap terapkan prokes yang berlaku. Nah, seperti yang kita ketahui nih teman-teman sekalian, Australia Barat nggak cuma terkenal akan tempatnya yang kece-kece, ya kan? Seperti Perth, Pulau Ratness di video awal, tapi Australia Barat ini juga punya banyak banget, punya segudang produk hasil lokal yang menciptakan kuliner-kuliner otentik yang sayang banget kalau kita nggak cobain. Nah, oleh karena itu, hari ini kita ada kesempatan untuk bisa nyobain masak-masak hidangan khas Australia Barat, tapi dari rumah aja. Cara masaknya mudah-mudahan gampang, hasilnya enak, nanti kita bisa langsung icip ya di rumah ya. Kali aja kalau setelah ngicip kita langsung berasa sensasinya kayak berada di Australia Barat. Nah, hari ini kita akan memasak hidangan lokal dan juga jalan-jalan ke 3 atraksi paling populer di Australia Barat. Teman-teman mungkin yang udah pernah berkunjung, ayo siapa yang udah pernah visit West Australia, langsung dong boleh komen juga sama kita semua di sini. Pasti udah nggak asing nih sama kota Perth ya kan, Coral Coast, Southwest. Nah, Perth itu kan terkenal banget sama kotanya yang dinamis ya kan. Kalau misalnya kita dengar Coral Coast, itu biasanya kita ingatnya dengan tebing-tebing yang berwarna kuning keemasan, cantik sekali. Dan ada Southwest yang biasanya suka dengan wildlife, culture, ada pepohonan. Nah, itu biasanya cocok banget buat pergi ke situ. Dan aku juga pengen info nih teman-teman semuanya. Nanti kita ada digital activation, hadiahnya menarik banget. Gimana caranya? Pantengin terus makanya ya Instagram kumparan.com. Dan jangan lupa kalau mau posting pakai hashtag adventure awaits. Nanti bisa diikuti infonya lebih lanjut. Teman-teman semuanya pastinya udah nggak sabar kan? Kira-kira hari ini kita bakal masak menu apa yang khas dari Australia Barat? Langsung aja ya kita akan undang chef handal kita yang sudah bergabung secara virtual. Ada Chef Vincent Lim.
Hello, Sasha.
Hi.
Hello, teman kumparan.
Hi, Chevy. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, looking good. Great. It's very nice to see you today.
Nice to see you too. Nice to see all the audience here.
So, of course,
Thank you for having me.
we're very delighted to have you here today and can't wait to learn a lot from you. So I think many of Kumparan friends here today, they want to know first. In Indonesia, we have a saying that goes, tak kenal maka tak sayang. You have to know a person deeper, right? Before you get to love them, right? So probably can you tell us a little bit more about Chef Vincent Lim? Why do you love cooking? I mean, how did it all start?
Well, I love cooking. There's two part of people that become a chef. There's one who were born with that. They were little, they were born with that. They're born with a name very associated to cooking. The second part of the person would be pretty much they grow into it. I probably belong to the second part. I don't like cooking in the beginning, but during my time here, working the restaurant, cutting the veggie, watching the chef, I grow into cooking. I grow into passion of cooking the food because food is about the celebrations of life. We cook, we celebrate life. And it's every day, like for example, on the New Year, you have food. Baby was born, you get food. Maybe 1 month old, you get food. Like food is part of our life. So I start growing into it, to where I am today.
That kind of gives us hope, right? Because some people say that if you want to be a great chef, you were born into it, but you turned into a really excellent chef, but you actually just loved cooking, from just a while back, right? So probably we can turn into a chef ourselves, right? By learning from today, starting today.
That's correct.
So,
it's not too late.
Of course, Chef, we're also excited saying about food is part of celebration. I mean, celebrating life, anything that we're having during our days. The food today that we'll be cooking, will it be easy to follow? Something, because chef's food are sometimes always associated into a very sophisticated and hard to replicate. What about today's cooking? Will it be easy for us?
Today is absolutely easy, very simple. The food is about the culture in the dish here. It's very simple. This is designed and created just for everybody to cook at home. So that shouldn't be any problem at all.
Okay, so at least we're on the same page right here. Make sure that, don't worry, the cooking will be very easy to follow. So what will we be cooking today, Chef? I heard it's a specialty, right? The signature creation from Western Australia, local produce we'll be using. But is it an appetizer, main course, dessert? What's the hero ingredient?
Okay, let me give you a little bit of hint here.
All right.
Okay. It can be entree, it can be a main course, and it can be a shared plate right in the middle for the family to share. It's a very local Western Australian produce, which is only can find it in Western Australia. Another name of this is called Jinda, and it's the Western rock octopus. It's a beautiful, beautiful dishes produced in Western Australia.
Okay. So, jadi teman-teman sekalian tadi disebutkan ya bahwa ini menggunakan dari produksi lokalnya, yaitu menggunakan gurita nih. Nah, ini adanya memang di Western Australia. So, Chef, about this, where does the inspiration come from? I mean, for this dish, it is using local produce, right? But is there like any cultural meaning, or is it a destination specialty behind this dish?
Well, I would say this dish is actually designed more into the cultural influence in Western Australia. As you know, we are living in Perth now. I've been here for 31 years now. And I see a lot of changes. At the moment, I would say over 35%, or I would say probably 40% more of the people actually wasn't born here. the multicultural in Perth now is absolutely to the max, and it's beautiful. There's food scenes, the culture with so many different races and ethnic group here, and does make a lot of changes in the food scene in Western Australia.
I think that makes
And
it really
for this dish,
interesting.
it's really, you can see the different, it's just not a typical Western dish. It has a lot of different country ingredient into it as well.
I think that makes it really interesting. You're going to taste something, from Western Australia, but also having that infused ethnics and cultures from other countries. Like probably we're going to see what's the menu about. So for today's cooking class,
we'll find out soon.
Chevy has already prepared all of the ingredients for all of us, and I want to remind all of the kumparan friend at home that during this cooking class, if anybody's kind of confused or missed a step, or you want to ask questions, don't hesitate, just type it on the Q&A and live chat box about today's session. And at the end of this cooking class and discussion segment, there will be 3 chosen questions that we'll ask straightly to Chef V. But of course, you're allowed to ask not only about cooking. So let's say if anybody wants to ask anything about Western Australia, like where to go, like I need recommendations, like restaurants to go, will you be happy to answer those questions, Chef?
You got the right person.
Alright, so I'm sure buat teman-teman di sini semuanya kayaknya udah nggak sabar ya untuk bisa memulai kelas memasaknya. Tadi juga Chef Vincent sudah memberikan clue latar belakang sedikit tentang menu spesialnya yang akan kita olah hari ini. Ada octopus nih ya dari Chef V. Kira-kira menunya seperti apa? Nanti kita tonton. Yuk langsung disiapkan. Grab your pen, grab your notebook, or probably you want to take notes on your phone. That's okay too. Don't miss all of the ingredient list and how to cook it step by step. Gimana cara masaknya? Plus aku reminder lagi nih buat teman-teman semuanya biar makin afdol, teman-teman nanti bisa nanya ya pertanyaan apapun langsung aja diketikkan di live chat di Q&A kita. Pertanyaannya bebas ya, pokoknya seputar Western Australia. Mau tanya wisata boleh, mau tanya rekomendasi boleh. Nanti kita akan jawab di akhir sesi. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. The adventure awaits. Chevy, are we ready? Let's do this. Cooking class with Chef Vincent Lim.
Hello teman-teman kumparan, this is Chef Vincent here, Chef V. I'm super excited today. I want to show you what I'm going to cook today for all my kumparan family and friends and teman-teman is something that I always eat it when I back to Jakarta. You guys will probably very familiar with that. It's called ayam mantega. But I'm not doing ayam mantega, but I'm using the octopus. When I travel back to Jakarta, I went to friend's house, family house, that's what I eat, and it's one of my favorite food to eat in Jakarta as well. Of course, there are plenty of beautiful food in Jakarta, but I'm going to show you today with a twist how I do the octopus mantega. Or I name it the mala mantega octopus. So what we have is the main thing is we need to boil the water to cook the octopus. What's in the liquid here would be cardamom here. We're going to put in the water, and we get the garlic. Don't worry about peeling the garlic, anything, chuck it in straight away. This is 1 onion, straight in to the water. And we got some lemongrass. So all you do is just bruise your lemongrass first. Chuck it in there. And let it probably simmer for about 10-15 minutes. And when that is ready, We're gonna put the octopus in there for about 30 minutes, and after that, we're gonna continue it again to complete the dish. Right, this is after 30 minutes of cooking the octopus. As you can see, it starts changing its color and it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, first to make this mala mantega octopus sauce, the first thing we need some onion, and we need some garlic, some chili, coriander, edamame, butter. But also a very, very special ingredient I want to put in to make it a bit different would be the Sichuan peppercorn. So first thing we need to do, take some corn out, put on the medium fire, just to roast the peppercorn first. While it's roasting, we're gonna make some chili. Because some chili, as you know, I love chili, and most of the Indonesian people love chili. It's part of our life to eat chili. So we're gonna have plenty of chili in here. So we go pound the chili a little bit. And we also do that with a bit of garlic in there as well. And I will put some coriander as well, with the roots and the leaf. Pound it all together. Just tiny little oil, just to make a little bit of oil. Don't worry about really mash it until it's really fine. This will do. This is a recipe that will take you less than 15 minutes to do at home. We're going to slice some onion. And we're going to do some garlic as well. You know about the octopus from Western Australia. It's pretty high in protein, and it's got zero fat, and which is great. So I can have more, eating more octopus now. So I got my garlic, I got my onion all ready to go to the pans now, and this is ready. So the first thing is before we put the butter in, we're gonna put a bit of oil. The reason is just not to burn the butter. Put onion, garlic all in there, and you got all this pounding and grinding beautiful herbs, chili, get in there. While we're cooking this for another further about 4 minutes, I'll probably put a bit more chili. And the sauce is very simple. While it's cooking for the next 3 to 4 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the octopus. So we just slice the octopus. For me, octopus is the best protein in the ocean. This is sizzling now. Now we're ready to put in the sauce. And the sauce is very simple. First will be the Worcestershire sauce, which in Jakarta, I believe that we call sauce English, right? And one of the favorite sauce for Indonesia, kecap manis, which is a sweet soy sauce. And you can use any light soys. I have the soy sauce. This is beautiful, very rich and delicate soy sauce. And we've got some brown sugar. And we've got some sesame. As you can see, this is pretty much sauteed beautifully. The color was absolutely beautiful. We're gonna have some Worcestershire sauce, sauce English. some soy. Just ketchup manis. Just tiny little bits of the brown sugar, not too much because the soy sauce is already pretty sweet. This is just for the flavor and the fragrance. And a bit of sesame seed. Mix that through together. And the sauce is pretty much getting thicker now. All we do was just put all that beautiful octopus in there. Make sure they all coated to the octopus. Let it keep cooking for about a few more minutes. Before we finish it off, you need to have a bit of butter to finish it off. So if you can't find the octopus in Indonesia, you can use cumi-cumi, you can use your prawn, you can use your other seafood. But of course, if you do come to visit Western Australia, do try to find some Western Australia octopus here. So this is pretty much done now. You can see it get very thick now, the sauce. Well, we're going to start doing some plating. I'm going to turn off the heat now. Let's dress up our octopus. And we have some edamame, which is like Japanese bean, just to get some color. And we just dress up the plate, make it look prettier. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you guys in Western Australia very soon.
Have you been dreaming of getting away? Well, we know a place that will recharge your spirit. WA, Western Australia, a land where adventure awaits. Otherworldly adventures, ancient adventures, majestic, unfiltered adventures. Here in Western Australia, you can get away from the crowds, go beyond the expected, and take the road less travelled. There's plenty to choose from. Watch the sun melt into the water while strolling along a picture-perfect beach, on the back of a camel. Get a fresh perspective on life, 40 metres up in the canopy of an ancient forest. Give your taste buds a holiday, sampling the best local produce in the Margaret River wine region. Or maybe it's time you just got outside and went for a swim with these gentle giants. Go on, turn waiting into planning. Western Australia, adventure awaits.
Nah, buat teman-teman kumparan yang tadi belum sempat ngelihat video Adventure Awaits yang menarik banget di awal, gimana setelah lihat videonya? Udah rindu banget belum buat pergi liburan? Aku juga kok, tapi tenang aja ya, karena sore hari ini pokoknya aku bakal temenin teman-teman kumparan semuanya untuk melepas kerinduan kalian bareng dengan Chef Vincent. So, by the way, we're gonna say thank you, Chef V, for the amazing cooking session. The menu, mala, mantega, octopus. It feels like I can smell the octopus from here, you know, and I got like a really big envy for those guys who were there and get to try the octopus. But the steps were really easy to follow, so I took some notes also, because usually here in Indonesia, to make that mantega sauce, we're just known to use the garlic, and also what we call bawang bombay, the onion, and then the kecap Inggris. You know, we say kecap Inggris because saying Worcester sauce is very hard, right? And but we didn't know by adding all of those other ingredients, right? The peppercorn and also tadi ada daun panggil juga ya. It kind of probably will add more fragrance and flavor,
yes,
right? Okay. Correct. I bet it tastes amazing. I can't wait to try that. So, Chef V, can you now describe a little bit about the dish uniqueness that, what does it do to represent the Western Australia, and why our audiences should try this dish at home? I mean, I know you said that you can try it with squid or prawns, but why should we try it with octopus?
Okay, the reason is because in Western Australia, we have such a beautiful produce, and octopus is one of them that and have a lot of beautiful texture, and is zero fat, which is good for me. And the dish that design is very, very culturally meaningful for me, because you see, we, like I said before, we are such a big, we are the multicultural. Perth City is a multicultural society, and in that dish here you will see we have the Western Australian produce, we have the everyday ingredients, and we have some Indonesian, Southeast Asian ingredients. We have the Chinese Sichuan peppercorn, and plus we have the technique and the method that, you know, mortar and pestle, you know, grounding and pounding, which is what I love to use for my ingredient. And it represents Western Australia now. It's a multicultural country, and in the Perth City.
Alright, jadi teman-teman sekalian tadi dijelaskan juga ya bahwa memang di Australia Barat ini kaya sekali gitu budayanya, karena udah banyak infus juga dari budaya-budaya lain, dan ini juga tertuang nih dalam cara mereka memasak. Nggak cuma menggunakan bahan-bahan lokalnya aja yang pasti udah super fresh, tapi juga teknik memasaknya. Jadi bisa dipastikan buat teman-teman semuanya yang pengen nyobain, apalagi dengan menu malam mentega octopus yang tadi udah dimasak dengan Chef V. Aku yakin tadi semua udah pantengin kan, masaknya berapa lama, bahannya apa aja, diolahnya gimana caranya, nanti langsung dicoba ya. Especially because that you mentioned that it's actually high in protein and zero fat. That's a very interesting fact to know, especially
exactly right. I didn't know too until I found out it's zero fat, and I said, okay, I will eat more now. You know, I would have thought that, you know, it's not like, it's pretty fatty, but it's not.
I know, because a lot of the times when people try to, especially during this hard time, a lot of health practitioners always try to tell us, get more protein into your daily food, right? For your health, your immune system. But we always think that, okay, we're going to find like lean protein. So we always opt like for chicken, right? Because seafood, I think it's going to be high in fat. But knowing that octopus actually has high protein, zero fat, very good to know. We might try that, right?
Yep.
So the venue also for the cooking class is also amazing. I can't help to notice that while you were cooking, they were like, what? Seagulls, like the birds crying, right?
It's beautiful, right?
Beautiful. I was mesmerized by the view, the sea, everything. It looks perfect. Can you tell us, like, where's that located?
You know, it's actually only about 30 minutes drive from Perth.
What?
It's only 30 minutes drive from Perth. It's in Two Rocks, and we actually ride the boat probably about 40 minutes towards the Indian Ocean. And during the trip, the boat ride, and we actually saw whale were actually swimming next to the boat, right next to us as well.
No
That
way.
is Western Australia. That is WA. It's nature. It's beautiful.
Oh my God. So, like Chevy also said earlier, I mean, this is another plus point. I mean, if you're really into nature, right? You want to see those wildlife. You want to enjoy the fresh seafood options, and it's really a must try. It's very easy to get, and it's once again, it's located in coastal area. You can find anything. Not only octopus, right? Probably fresh lobsters, crayfish.
Yep, anything you want. Pretty much,
Barramundi,
it's like
abalone, yeah, you name it, right? Any kind of seafood that
yes.
you want, you get it there. So
It's right in your doorstep. For me, I always say, the seafood in Western Australia, it's just like right next to our doorstep. Open the door, get anything you want. It's fresh, it's local, it's beautiful.
that's what's very special, because having the best seafood, get it where you could get the local produce just outside your door, and nowhere place better than West Australia, right? So jadi memang teman-teman
Exactly.
sekalian, Australia Barat itu terkenal banget nih sama hidangan-hidangan lautnya, fresh banget, karena areanya ini juga memang berbatasan langsung nih dengan pesisir laut. Nah, teman-teman tadi juga ngeliat kan selama cooking kelasnya, area pesisir, segala tempat dari Chevy memasak itu juga bagus banget. Jadi nggak heran kalau dari hasil lautnya mau cari apa nih? Lobster, abalone, octopus, si gurita tadi nih yang dipakai sama Chevy, itu looks so fresh. It's a plus point and a very must try if you get to visit to Western Australia. Cobain kuliner seafoodnya. So, kalau tadi kita udah seru-seruan belajar masak bareng, before answering your questions bareng sama chef handal kita, Chevy, gimana kalau misalnya kita akan main games terlebih dahulu? Kita mau bagi-bagi hadiah dulu nih buat teman-teman semua biar makin semangat. Gimana? Setuju nggak kalau kita main games dulu? Gamenya pokoknya gampang nih, tinggal jawab aja pertanyaan-pertanyaan dari kita, pertanyaan trivia seputar Australia Barat. Nanti aku akan kasih beberapa pertanyaan untuk teman-teman sekalian dijawabnya melalui kahoot.it. 3 teman kumparan yang berhasil menjawab paling cepat, tapi juga harus tepat ya, berkesempatan untuk memenangkan hadiah uang senilai Rp300.000 untuk masing-masing orang. Aduh, lumayan banget. Dan pertanyaannya ini pasti mudah banget karena tadi jawaban-jawabannya pasti udah seputar dari cooking classnya, dari apa yang tadi kita udah bahas. Jadi ayo teman-teman semuanya langsung buka dulu sambil tapi kita jangan ditinggalin di sini ya, tetap nonton di sini, mungkin bisa sambil dibuka juga, mungkin mau dibuka di smartphone-nya, dibuka di laptopnya, silakan ya. Buka webpage kahoot.it. Nah, dibuka dulu ayo. So we're gonna play a game together. Sounds fun, right? We're gonna ask our friends here
awesome.
questions about Western Australia. We have a pin right here, kahoot.it. If you're already in the webpage, kalau sudah di webpage-nya Kahoot ini, nanti kan diminta nih buat masukin game pin-nya. Itu dia, game pin-nya bisa langsung dimasukin ya. Oke, 409-0534. That's the game pin. Please register yourself, langsung daftarin nama kalian. Ayo, siapa yang mau ikutan? Kita masih tunggu ya, kita masih tunggu buat teman-teman sekalian buat ikutan dan buat join game ini. Nah, sambil menunggu di sini, so Chevy, before we start this game, and we're gonna wait for more players to come and join us.
Okay, so we can chat now.
Right, of course. So, octopus. I know you've also mentioned before that you have to boil it also, because here in Indonesia, usually people are just known to cooking all kinds of fish, but octopus not so much, because we're not exactly informed on how to cook it the right way, because a lot of times it gets like really chewy, it gets really tough, it's really hard to bite through. I mean, do you have like any special tips on how to make sure that your octopus cooks right? Especially the octopus that we get here are frozen already, right? So do you like put it straight to the boiling water, or you defrost it first? I mean, could you give us little tips on that?
Yeah, sure. If you do get the frozen one, it's good to defrost it first overnight in the fridge. And to put into right texture, I would recommend in the boiling water about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That would be give the best texture for the octopus. If you boil it a bit too long, it get really soft. But of course, some people like really soft. You got to boil for 45 to 50 minutes. Some people even boil it for 1 hour. But for me, 30 minutes is pretty close. You know, like you have a bit of chewiness, a bit of texture, which is like perfect.
Okay, so does it matter about the size, because you put in the whole hunk of octopus inside the water, right? But usually
Yes.
on frozen octopuses that we have, it's already on small bite sizes. Do we still need to do that 30 minutes, or probably it could take a little bit less?
No, I would cut down probably about 20% of the cooking time.
Okay.
If you come to small bite pieces, yes.
Okay.
Because you will cook a bit faster.
Oke, jadi teman-teman sekalian, tadi ada sedikit tips nih dari Chef V. Kalau misalnya kita mau masak dengan menggunakan octopus gitu ya, atau masak dengan menggunakan gurita. Biasanya kalau kita masak gurita kan suka rasanya kayak alot gitu kan, susah buat digigit. Apalagi yang suka kita temukan di sini biasanya itu udah dalam bentuk frozen gitu ya, yang gampang dicari. Jadi tadi tipsnya adalah kalau misalnya kita dapat bentuknya kayak fresh, itu bisa untuk langsung direbus aja kurang lebih 30 menit. Ada yang ngerebusnya jauh lebih lama, tapi biasanya nanti teksturnya makin lama akan makin empuk, tapi terlalu empuk biasanya. Nah, untuk menikmati teksturnya si gurita ini yang masih ada sedikit kenyalnya tapi udah nikmat buat dimakan, biasanya 30 menit itu adalah waktu yang tepat. Nah, tapi kalau misalnya kita dapetinnya guritanya yang dalam bentuk frozen atau beku, tadi tipsnya adalah dipastikan dulu diturunin dulu ke kulkas 1 malam, di defrost dulu, jangan dalam keadaan beku. Dan kalau sudah dalam bentuk potongan yang kecil-kecil, itu mungkin waktu memasaknya bisa dikurangi lagi. Nah, karena tadi kan dimasukin sama Chef itu bentuknya octopusnya masih gede gitu kan. Jadi sekali lagi nih buat teman-teman sekalian, itu tadi salah satu tipsnya gimana untuk bisa menikmati octopus ataupun gurita dengan tekstur yang pas. Oke. Jadi teman-teman sekalian, sambil kita nunggu nih untuk gamenya itu, nah mungkin kita akan ngobrol-ngobrol dulu nih ya sama teman-teman sekalian. Mungkin sambil nunggu lebih banyak lagi teman-teman, ayo dong ajakin teman-teman yang lain untuk bisa gabung dan nonton kita di sini. Karena kalau kita mainin gamenya nanti akan berkesempatan untuk mendapatkan hadiah dari kita. So, well, we're gonna continue our talk today, and of course we're gonna have some time for our friends here. If you'd like to ask any questions about the menu itself, about probably tips on cooking, or basically anything about Western Australia, feel free to just drop in your questions at the live chat, alright? Jadi buat teman-teman semuanya, sekarang gimana kalau kita masih lanjutin dulu nih ngobrolnya, pengalaman bersama dengan Chef V. So, you've been in Perth for 32 years?
31 years now.
31 years.
31.
So, what I'm very interested to hear from you is probably recommendations, right? So, you've been there for so long. If one day we get a chance to visit, right, Western Australia has already went boom through the top of my list. When this is over, Western Australia is where I'm going to be, right? So, if I happen to be there later on, and hopefully in the near future, would you care to give us like some recommendations, like what to do first? To culinary lovers, to anyone who loves to eat, what to do first?
Okay. First, when you come here, contact me. No, just kidding. Come here. There is so many things you can do in Western Australia. If you talk about food, there are so, at the moment in Perth, I would tell you, this is the food scene. It's a food heaven. We have so many gourmet restaurants around, from a little alley, under the building, on the beach, right on top of the top floor of the building, anything you want, it's amazing. And like I said before, and the food is absolutely gorgeous here because of the multicultural influence. I'm not talking about, like I said before, we're not talking about just English or Malaysian, Singaporean. We're talking about Philippines, South Africa, Vietnam, Thailand, probably Cambodia, Brazil, like so many ethnic groups here. The influence they have in our food industry is enormous. They are food that I never tried before, I never heard before, which I can have it here myself, and I learned something, especially, this is one of the best places to go for food at the moment.
That's going to be tough though, Chef, because saying that there's a bunch of culinaries that we can taste, you know, from a lot of ethnicities there in Western Australia, makes it so 3 days, 4 days, that wouldn't be enough, right, to try all of them.
No, that's not going to be enough. And you got to make sure you don't eat before you come to Western Australia.
No, right. So, but if we do come there, how is the situation there in Western Australia at the moment?
At the moment, look at me, no masks. We can go anywhere we want. No restrictions.
I'm
Everything's
squinting my
back to
eyes on you
normal.
right now, right?
Yeah, it's back to normal. You know, there's
No.
nothing at all. Just
No.
pretty much it's back to before lockdown. Very normal.
So now
That's where we are now.
it's like you're back to 2019 where nothing has happened.
Pretty much. At the moment, we're back to 2019. We can do anything we
Oh
want.
my
Go to any
God.
event, go to any show, watch footy, basketball. You know, just normal.
It's like
we
normal.
are very lucky.
Okay. I'm very envious right now. Teman-teman kumparan semuanya seperti yang tadi dijelaskan juga ya. Western Australia atau Australia Barat ini semua kondisinya juga sekarang sudah sangat bagus, sudah kembali ke normal. Tadi Chevy juga cerita bahkan udah nggak pakai masker di sana, udah seperti kayak biasa aja, udah bisa nongkrong bareng, udah bisa nonton konser bareng, udah bisa kongko kafe ataupun mau makan bareng. Tapi kalau di Indonesia jangan dulu ya, mungkin kita harus lebih banyak bersabar. Atau kalau misalnya nggak sabar, main aja makanya nanti ke Western Australia ya. So if you want a taste of that free life, go visit Western Australia.
Western Australia.
Okay, so probably we'd like to know more as an expert in culinary. What is the difference that you feel about developing a culinary business both in Australia and probably in Indonesia?
Well, for me, I mean, it can be very different for a lot of people, but personally for me, I think when I built some business here in Australia and I'm in Perth and also do some business in Indonesia, I think one of the main difference now what I learned is in it back to the same answer again. It's very multicultural now. Mm-hmm. So when we start a business now, we deal with a lot of different ethnic group. You got to understand the culture. You know, we're not just dealing with just one or two ethnic group now. So we learn a lot of things. We understand each other. What's the background, you know, to do the business, everything. But in here in Perth, I think it's pretty straightforward to run a business, to start anything. Everything's on paper. The rules, the regulation is there. You know, we just have to follow, do the right thing. You know, quick and easy and simple.
Nah, jadi teman-teman sekalian dijelaskan juga ya, tadi Chevy bilang bahwa kalau mau mulai bisnis, apalagi kayak bisnis kuliner gitu ya, kayak di Perth atau di Western Australia, semuanya jadi balik lagi karena regulasinya atau peraturannya, itu persyaratannya juga semua udah jelas. Jadi selama kita udah mengikuti, ya udah gampang deh tuh, bisa langsung diikuti aja. Apalagi kalau misalnya kita juga punya ketertarikan ya buat multicultural tadi tuh yang sempat disebutin. Nah, apalagi mungkin mau tambahin kuliner-kuliner Indonesia yang menarik-menarik dibawa ke Western Australia, pasti mereka juga bakal welcome banget ya. So personal question for you, Chef. What's your all-time favorite dish from Western Australia? But you can only pick one, right? No coming back from this.
You are just giving me the hardest question.
You can only pick one.
Oh, I have about 50 or 100 in my mind now. To pick one, that is make it really hard.
If you can only have this one dish throughout your entire life, what would it be?
Just one dish in my entire life in Western Australia. Oh no. Let me think. So that is so tough, you know.
Can I make
Even
it
tougher
three?
than
Guys, three maybe? You know, make the questions a little bit
I would
easier
say
for
one
Chef.
of my favorite dish in Perth. I'm not saying that you're not going to get it in anywhere else, but one of my favorite food in Perth would be Turkish food.
Okay.
From Turkey, yeah. So they have these beautiful charcoal chicken in the Turkish style. You know, it's one of the food that I always once in a while going to keep thinking and go back to it, to this little restaurant. And wow, there's so many, you know. And they are food that also sometimes I would just like, oh, I feel like this again. I feel like this again once a month. Will be very simple and typical fish and chips. You know, I know it's simple, but when you have the best fish in the world, sitting right next to the river, the water, see the boat, eating that fish and chips is a totally different meaning, right?
You ain't visiting Australia until you taste their fish and chips. That's what they say. But although you did tell us that it's not only about fish and chips, because it turns out that you have a lot of variations of seafood that you can actually cook there. Okay, so it looks like that you're also into this very big, rich flavors, right? Turkish food also easy to find there in Western Australia.
Yes.
So, would you share with us probably some of the best local restaurants and the idea that if we come visit there, probably street food, street stalls that we can also try out?
I mean, there are lots of restaurants in Western Australia now today. When I'm saying that a lot, I'm talking about compared to 10 years, 5 years ago, even 3 years ago to now, just that few years is a huge difference where it was jam-packed. Like that's a street in Western Australia where you can go the whole street, the whole full street left and right would be coffee, street food. When I say street food, it's not that they are selling next to the street, but they sell lots of different street food from all over the world, but all in the small little kiosks in the left restaurants. And you have all these dessert from Japan, from Korea, from Indonesia. Like it was just jam-packed now. If you do come to Western Australia, that is like a food heaven.
Okay, so once again, if you love food, if you love culinary, it's gonna be heaven for you, right? Just go visit Western Australia.
Just go there,
right?
spend a month here.
but
to eat.
Spend a month? I'm afraid to do that, you know, because I'm afraid that I won't go home, you know. You get too cozy and everything, and
to relax.
You start to relax a little bit too much and enjoy everything there from the Western Australia part. So apart from the food, if we get to visit Western Australia, I know there are several places that it's like a must go, but could you give us like an insider tip on what to do? Probably nature sightseeing or anything that people will not find it in most like websites or anything, you know, just insider tips.
You see, let's put it down. In Western Australia, if you do come here, we can divide this place into north and south, which is pretty easy. You know, if you go to the north, that's where the coasts are, beautiful seafood, ocean, white sand beaches, you know, and lots of beautiful scenery. It's a long drive. That's when you enjoy your time, you know, to see the scenery during a drive. If you go to the south, it would probably take you about between 3 to 5 hours. Compared to the north, might take you more than that. But we do have a flight to get there. Like, you know, like in south, there's so many things that, how do I put that in words? If you haven't been to north, it's a place that when you visit there the first time, you will just probably just open your eyes and your mouth and wow, you know, it's something that is not man-made, it's natural. It is what it is. It's not someone going to make it happen. Looks like an island, looks like a swimming pool, looks like, you know, it's natural. You can go to the white sand beach with the camel like you saw on the video, right? You have the camel there, you have the dinner there, sunsets. You go to Monkey Maya where you can, how many places in this world, you tell me, you can actually hand feed dolphin?
No way.
Yes, you can hand feed dolphin in Monkey Maya.
Seeing dolphins is one thing, but hand feeding dolphins?
Yes, yeah. How many places in this world? Probably you can't even find it, you know? And you can go to Exmouth, you know, where that is like the biggest, longest coast, nearly over 200 kilometers. A lot of fish, prawns, seafood is all come from there. It's all from the south. If you go to the north, which gives it a totally different experience again this time. When you go to the south, it's more into a family, relaxing getaway where you actually drive along, go to the winery, see all the grapes, local produce, cheese, olives, yogurt, ice cream. Oh my goodness, ice cream and wine, and a lots of beautiful restaurant on the south side. It's a totally different experience, but doesn't matter you go to the north, you go to the south. But if this is your first time, either way, you're gonna be wow, because it's something that is you only can get it through experience, and it's not something that is natural. It's all there. It's not man-made, you know. So the scene, the scenery, the trees, the water is crystal clear. When I say crystal clear, it's like really clear. When you walk in there, you see the fish come right next to you, and you can feed them. You can play. Oh my goodness me! You gotta come here one day, Sasha, and all the kumparan teman gotta come here. Word cannot describe.
I really cannot wait. You know, I'm already having this visions in my head, you know, going a trip on a boat and, you know, enjoying all the sceneries, and then catching all those
correct.
fresh produces, and probably, you know, straight cooking it on the boat, maybe with...
Yeah. Let me add one more thing for you.
Is that
okay?
possible?
If you think if you think go to the north, oh, probably too long for me, not this high, probably the next trip. South, oh, a bit too long. Hey, we got Rottnest Island. It's just like not far away, 45 minutes away. We have King's Park, like 10 minutes to the 5 minutes to the city, where you got beautiful scenery. Elizabeth Cay, where there is a boat, you can take a boat there and dine in on the boat when they take you cruise around the river.
Enjoy
and
a
you can go
wine.
we have also a winery, Swan Valley, which is only about 25 to 30 minutes from Perth, where you can take a boat along in the valley, stop at different winery, restaurant, and or dining, eating your cheese, olive, sip some wine in the boat. You know,
Amazing.
what a life.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I'm sure if I'm not on camera right now, I'd be already going like, oh my God. You know, we should be enjoying that right now, right? So, teman-teman kumparan tadi sempat dijelaskan juga nih sama Shafi di sini bahwa gak cukup deh waktu sebentar doang untuk mengunjungi Western Australia. Dan di area Western Australia ini gampang banget, tinggal dibagi ke area utara atau ke area selatannya. Dan itu pasti buat teman-teman semuanya, masing-masing juga memiliki ada uniqueness-nya tersendiri. Dan pastinya ini kaya banget dengan segala sesuatu yang natural. Jadi kalau pengen melihat alam, pengen in touch langsung dengan alam, oh ini adalah tempat yang perfect banget. Tadi banyak banget ya kegiatan yang bisa kita lakukan. Kayak kita bisa langsung, gak cuma ngelihat doang, tapi kita bisa langsung ngasih makan lumba-lumba. Terus kita bisa juga melihat pemandangan, kita bisa melihat si bukit-bukitnya ini, si tebing-tebingnya. Terus termasuk juga kalau misalnya teman-teman mau menikmati nih si fresh seafoodnya ini, bisa tuh sambil satu hari kita trip naik kapal gitu ya, terus kita menikmati langsung gitu dari hasil lautnya itu, kita nikmati sambil dimasak. Dan di sana juga mereka ada winery yang bisa kita nikmati. Aduh, bener-bener pokoknya apa ya judulnya ya, kayak hidup-hidup plengsoy perlu dinikmati. Aduh, itu pokoknya Western Australia tuh kayaknya adalah tempat yang paling tepat. Nah, so talking about Western Australia, having endless of exciting places to visit. You want city life, you want beach life, farm life, nature, wildlife, anything, you name it, right?
All the life you want, you name it, you can have it here.
All the life you want, and you get to have it all, you know? You don't get to like choose only one life. You can just basically hop to one to another.
Live a different life every week.
live, I like that. Live a different life every weekend. Jadi kita bisa menikmati gaya-gaya hidup yang berbeda setiap weekend, bisa ganti teman-teman. Dari hidup sebagai warga kota, mendadak kita jadi hidupnya di area pantai, pesisir, terus mendadak kita jadi, wah itu semua pokoknya bisa ganti-ganti deh. Ini terjadinya memang di Western Australia. So, let's say your traveling preferences, okay? The favorite place place, and probably if anybody gets to visit, minimum how many days should we spend there?
If you
I know
come
we
here
can't
to
we
visit
can't
for
visit all, right? We can't visit all unless we're a citizen. But to enjoy most of Western Australia, how long would it take?
Well,
Ideally.
I would say to really enjoy the time, take your time to enjoy, to experience all the different what Western Australia has offer. Minimum at least 2 weeks. That's a
2
minimum. That's what I would
weeks.
say. Minimum
And that's only
to
for
really
Western
enjoy to
Australia.
experience.
Right? Jadi 2 minggu teman-teman. Jadi kalau misalnya mau puas, santai, menikmati semua yang Western Australia has to offer, 2 minggu deh. Nah, itu bisa untuk menikmati segala sesuatu yang mereka punya di sana. And if we get to visit there, would you recommend, because Indonesians are very keen on souvenirs, right? Every time we go visit a place, go bring back something from that place, you know, right?
Yes, I do the same thing as well.
Is there any souvenir or local products that like we should get or is uniquely Western Australia?
I mean, there are lots of things in Western Australia, but of course there are some souvenir that which is like it's like a more like belongs to like Australia. For example, when you talk about macadamia nuts, you talk about boomerangs, or sort of thing, you know. But to special, when it comes to Western Australia, I would suggest that you get some souvenir. But for me, it's always about food. Like, you know, we have a lot of local produce. Like we have a really special Western Australian cheese that is made in here. We have all these beautiful painting, rock engraving from the Aboriginal artists, which is really special to bring home because it belongs to Western Australia. But of course, if you do come here, there's one more thing you need to do: go to Rockness and take a photo with a quokka, because you only can find quokka in Western Australia.
Get a photo with quokka. Take that as a note, friends. Alright. Jadi jangan lupa ya, tadi banyak banget nih buat teman-teman semuanya kalau misalnya mau bawa pulang sesuatu dari Western Australia bisa macam-macam. Walaupun memang yang direkomendasikan makanannya ya mungkin dari kacangnya gitu atau mungkin dari kejunya yang khas Australia. Tapi bisa juga nih kalau misalnya pengen souvenir yang emang buat dipajang gitu, mereka juga punya nih lukisan-lukisan yang bagus atau kayak ukiran-ukiran dari batu yang memang dikerjakan oleh orang-orang yang khas aborigin di sana. Nah, ini semuanya bisa didapatkan di Western Australia. And talking about, you said everything is like back to normal there. People are enjoying local events, shows, and I know, right? We're very excited to do that. So if we get to visit there, is there any like local events that you've attended and you can recommend to us? And what's so special about that event?
Yeah, we do have. I mean, in Western Australia, we do have a lot of events. Pretty much, I would say that the event is running on a weekly basis.
Weekly?
So we have we have a different events. Like on the weekly basis, we have a lot of dinner and dance show events. We have movie events. We have like market events, which happening every week. Or we have the twilight events where you have all this food truck in the different places right next to the ocean, next to the river. They set it up so you have all the street food selling it there. That's happening every week. And we do have some seasonal events. For example, you have the Manjinma truffle event, which happen only during June to September. As you know, truffle is one of the delicacy. It's like nearly $2,000 a kilo, you know. And in Western Australia, a place called Manjinma, which produce about 75% of the truffle in the whole Australia, and they are one of the biggest producer of a truffle. So you can go there to attend the event. You can join them for the activities, see how they actually look for the truffle with a dog, because you need a dog to look for, they call the truffle hunting dog. So the dog actually look for the truffle. So you join the activity, grab the truffles, the chef can cook for you. You know, there's so many different events. You have food and wine event happening probably every few months. where you can go in there, taste all different wine, different cheese, different olives, and then just talk to the producer one-on-one. You have different markets, nearly probably I would say pretty much once every 2 months in the different places. All the local producer will bring all their vegetable, their produce. You can talk to them, ask them questions, and enjoy the food. There's lots of things happening in events, food-wise in Western Australia.
But based on your explanation, it sounds that Western Australia is like a very close community, like everybody gets to know each other, spend time on events together, because like events are happening like on weekly basis, seasonal basis. I mean, there's a lot going on there, right?
There's a lot going on. The event that when you attend, you might meet someone that you met the last one. Hey, you're here. Hello. Like friends are everywhere.
That's very nice.
Experience.
That's a nice experience. Especially tadi Chevy juga sempat menjelaskan ya bahwa setiap minggu itu di sana mereka ada acara, mau acara kuliner, acara nonton, terus mereka juga punya acara seasonal gitu ya, dari Jun sampai September itu mereka ada acara juga. Termasuk mereka juga terkenal nih sama, sekali lagi balik lagi kulinernya nih, kalau misalnya yang udah tahu betapa enaknya dishes atau masakan-masakan yang pakai truffle. Nah, memang harus dia berkunjung ke Western Australia karena ada satu area yang memang 75% daripada truffle itu memang dihasilkannya di Australia itu di area itu, dan bahkan kita bisa ngelihat langsung gitu untuk proses pencarian truffle-nya diambil gitu terus langsung diolah menjadi masakan oleh chef di sana. Nah, itu kita bisa lihat langsung, balik lagi ya, harus berkunjung ke Western Australia. So, Chef V, as your career in culinary, as a chef, do you have like any exciting future projects that you're going to do, or probably other dreams that you would like to achieve in the near future?
Yeah, I do have a few projects. Actually, we do have planning to open up the restaurants in Indonesia, in Jakarta. And also a lot of project happening now also online. This is the time that everything happen online, but my dream will be, hopefully all this will be over, all this pandemic is over, we can travel again. I can go back to Jakarta as well and can have more friends come over from Indo, to visit Western Australia. And yes, my plan will be pretty much open a restaurant in Jakarta soon to serve the local produce from Western Australia.
I would be your first customer, standing in line in front of that door, right? If you happen to be here and open a restaurant here, give us a call.
You'll be the first one to know.
Give us a call, okay? We'll be there, we'll be there. So thank you so much, Chevy, of course, or probably for all of your recommendation, your insider tips, everything about Western Australia. I know probably it's going to take some time for us to come visit there, but at least now that we know, it actually should be on top of our list. Travel list, there you go, correct. Western Australia.
Put it for the first one to go.
First one to go when you're ready.
Yes.
So of course, while waiting from the questions from the attendees right now, we're gonna play the game right now. Jadi buat teman-teman sekalian, yuk kita mainkan dulu gamenya bareng-bareng sekalian. Mau menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan seputar dari Western Australia, jadi langsung aja ya. Nah, kita akan mainkan bersama dan kali aja nanti buat teman-teman sekalian, kalau misalnya pengen ikutan juga activation dari kita, makanya pantengin terus ya Instagramnya @kumparan.com, dan kalau misalnya pengen posting jangan lupa pakai #adventureawaits. Nah, kalau misalnya pengen tahu nanti disuruh ngapain aja, makanya sekali lagi pantengin akun Instagramnya ya. Oke, kita akan mainkan dulu untuk games ini teman-teman sekalian. Nah, jadi ditunggu aja buat teman-teman semuanya yang pengen ikutan, ayo langsung merapat. Tadi kita udah ngobrol, kita udah belajar masak bareng dengan chef handal kita, Chef Vincent Lim. Kita mau bagi-bagi hadiah dulu. Pertanyaannya seputar trivia Australia Barat. Jadi nanti akan ada beberapa pertanyaan buat teman-teman sekalian. Langsung yuk kita meluncur ke kahoot.it. Karena cuma untuk 50 orang yang beruntung yang bisa ikutan main ini. Langsung masukin game PIN-nya 8064501. Halo? Padahal bukan telepon ya. Enggak. Langsung masukin ya. www.kahoot.it. Only for 50 lucky people to get to join this game with us, and you get a chance to win a very exciting prize, Rp300.000 untuk masing-masing pemenang. Ada 3 orang di sini ya. Ayo, Langsung join ya, buka kahoot.it, bisa buka di browser lainnya, langsung dimasukin game pinnya 8064501. So, what are we going to ask today? I mean, we've talked about lots of things about Western Australia. I mean, if it was a book, it would be
about pretty thick.
that big. So much that you get to do in Western Australia. Probably the questions would be about the attractions, probably would be about the dish, the food, the dish that Chef V just showed you how to make it. Okay, let's start. Ready? Question number 1. Di bawah ini mana yang termasuk daerah di Western Australia? Perth, Gold Coast, Southwest, atau semua jawaban benar? Ayo, remember, you have to be not only correct, but you have to be as fast as you can. You have to be faster than everyone else, right? If you know how to play this game, we still have... All right. What, seriously? There's still some people who answered like only Perth or only... All of the answers are correct, okay? For Western Australia. Bahan utama makanan yang tadi dimasak oleh Chef V apa? The main ingredient. Kepiting, gurita, cumi-cumi, atau udang. The main ingredient. Was it crab? Was it squid? Was it octopus? The very fresh octopus? Or was it prawn? Very easy. Of course we know it's the prawn, right? It's the prawn. Okay, a lot of people got right. Mantega octopus by Chef V. Surya ada di posisi pertama sekarang. Ayo, siapa yang mau nyusul? Tema acara ini, tadi baru aku sebut loh. Adventure awaits. Great things await you. My trip, my adventure. Or the future awaits. That's easy because I just mentioned this like about a minute ago. What's waiting for you in Western Australia? All right. Of course, adventure awaits you, right? That's the correct answer. So we'll see. Kita lihat nih perolehan skornya. Aduh, Surya kebalap. This is a true sign that, you know, semua bisa kejar-kejaran ya. Berapa menit harus ngerebus gurita? Okay, how many minutes to boil the octopus to get into the perfect, chewy but soft texture? We talked a lot about that. How many minutes did it take for Chef V? 50, 30, 45, or 60 minutes? Jawabannya adalah 30 menit. 30 minutes is the golden time. The right answer, right? Jason tadi ada di posisi pertama ya. Di mana lokasi syuting Chef V tadi saat sesi cooking? Elizabeth Key, Rottnest Island, The Pinnacles of Fremantle. Wah, ini pasti udah tahu nih jawabannya nih. Karena tadi kelihatan tuh ada di truknya tuh. Aduh, apa ya kira-kira jawabannya ya? Where's the location of the cooking class? Yay! Fremantle, right? Okay, who gets it right? And we'll see the winners. Juara 3 adalah Paul. Okay. Juara kedua, Surya. Dan juara pertama adalah, oke kita lihat ya, Dio. Oke, tadi dia, they did a great job.
Congratulations.
Really fast. There's some tricky questions over there, but they tackled it really well. So Dio, Surya, sama Paul, selamat ya. Nah tadi keren banget, walaupun mungkin udah pernah atau belum pernah ke Western Australia, tapi udah tahu jawabannya. Nah jadi buat pemenangnya tadi, untuk lucky winnersnya, selamat kalian mendapatkan hadiah. Dan untuk itu, hadiahnya itu apa? Uang tunai masing-masing Rp200.000. Dan congrats, untuk klaim hadiahnya gimana? Langsung aja DM admin Kumparan di Instagram. Okay, so go straight to the Kumparan.com Instagram and just drop them a DM, alright? So seperti yang aku udah janjikan teman-teman sekalian, kalau teman-teman juga berkesempatan nih untuk tanya langsung ke Chef Vincent Lim, tadi udah ngetik mungkin di live chatnya di kolom Q&A seputar cooking class. Dan tadi kita udah bincang-bincang banyak banget tentang Australia Barat. 3 pertanyaan menarik sudah terpilih untuk langsung kita tanyakan. So we're gonna ask you some questions that came from the audiences, from our friends right here. So while waiting for the questions, of course, if you happen to want to get in touch with Chef V, probably you'd like to also share with us, like if we can follow you somewhere or get in touch with you and see what you're up to, maybe?
Yeah, you can probably follow me on my Instagram, which is at Chef Vincent Lim. Or you can also come visit my website, chefvincentlim.com. So either one, yeah.
Okay, so you can follow the Instagram, okay? Chef Vincent Lim. Once again, you can see what's up with Chef V. And of course, if you do have any questions, everyone, but don't forget, you're also very welcome to drop us messages. Okay, so the question over here, let's see. The first question is from Meta Restutiani. Meta, okay.
Okay.
Hi, Meta.
I'm nervous now.
Meta, the question
question?
is, hello, Mr. Lim. I'm very impressed seeing your virtual cooking show right now, especially
Thank you.
when you pound the chili garlic by using the traditional ulakan or cowet, or we call it
Ulakan,
cobek.
yes.
Yeah, this is very known here in Indonesia, right? It's Indonesian banget, okay? Saya setuju, Meta, ya. I want to know, how long is the best time cooking the octopus to get the highest protein for our body? Okay, the best time to cook the octopus.
Like I say in the video, I would say the recommended 30 because it doesn't take away too much of the protein from the octopus, and I have to try a lot of time. For me, 30 minutes pretty much is perfect, where the textures, everything you stay in the octopus and the protein as well. You know, everything when you boil it for too long, you lost the protein, you know. But I would say 30 minutes would be perfect for the whole octopus.
Okay.
If you have the really small, tiny little pieces, I would say you're gonna cut down at least 20% less as you
Okay.
cooked it.
So, jadi Meta tadi dijelaskan ya, kalau misalnya kamu punya octopusnya itu utuh gitu ya, kayak tadi potongan-potongan utuh, maka 30 menit itu adalah waktu yang paling ideal. Tapi kalau misalnya yang kamu punya itu adalah potongan-potongan yang udah kecil-kecil, atau misalnya kayak tadi kita sempat bahas ya, udah dalam bentuk frozen, pastikan itu udah di suhu ruang dulu, udah nggak beku dulu, dan kalau udah potongan kecil, waktu memasaknya bisa dikurangi sekitar 20%. Jadi mungkin sekitar 20-25 menit gitu, nah itu kayaknya udah cukup banget dan pas buat potongan-potongan yang kecil. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. And the second question is from Citra Puji Rahmani. Hi, Citra Puji.
Hello,
The
Citra.
question is, hi chef, is it okay if we change the Sichuan pepper with ordinary pepper that is easily found in Indonesia? And what is actually the difference between Sichuan pepper and the ordinary peppers that we usually get?
Okay, if you try to, you can do it, but the difference would be the Sichuan actually give you the numbing effect compared to the normal peppercorn. The normal peppercorn, if you use it, it is hot, it is spicy, but the Sichuan actually have a bit of flavor, and also it gives you the numbing effect, especially when you roast it first. And in saying that, I'm pretty sure you can find Sichuan peppercorn in Indonesia, because the last trip I went there, I did get some, but I just forgot where is it. Let me think. If I do remember where, I will let you know.
You know, at this time, probably Google is our best friend. And of course, we have marketplace like e-commerce or marketplace that we can basically find anything that we want. So probably we could take a look into there. Jadi mungkin Citra tadi kalau misalnya pengen nyari ya bisa sebenarnya diganti, tapi pasti rasanya akan berubah ya, karena kalau mau dapat sensasi umaminya itu memang dari si sichuan peppercornnya ini gitu. Kalau misalnya cuma pepper yang lain ya mungkin rasanya cuma kayak pedas lada biasa aja. Tapi kalau misalnya mau diganti nggak apa-apa, tapi kalau pengen tetap dapat sensasi rasa yang sama mungkin bisa dicari, karena menurut Chef V ini sebenarnya sichuan pepper gampang banget bisa dicari di Indonesia ya. Mungkin nanti kita cari sama-sama ya di e-commerce ya, kali aja kita bisa nemu, kita kirim langsung ke rumah terus bisa langsung cook from home ya kan. So last question from Delima. The question is, hello Chef Vincent, how do you prepare the octopus before cooking? Do we need to add salt to the boiled octopus, pre-season it, or what into the boiling water? Probably let's rewind a bit onto your cooking show and how you boiled it.
Yes. So you see the different, I did say it in the cooking show. In the pot there, I put all the waters, garlic, onion. You probably didn't see me put any salt, but I don't use, it's more like a preference cooking for a chef. For octopus, I don't actually like to put salt to boil it. And I like to put the salt actually after. That is just a preference for me. You can put salt first in the water, but I don't like to put salt in the water and boil the thing. I would rather to season myself after.
Okay. Jadi tadi jawabannya adalah pada saat kita ngerebus si guritanya ini, yang dimasukin tadi sama chef adalah biasanya cuma kayak bawang putih, cuma bawang bombay, tapi chef ini sama sekali nggak menambahkan garam. Tapi menurut chef ini sebenarnya masalah ke preferensi. Kalau menurut chef sendiri biasanya dia lebih nyaman dengan direbus dulu dengan rasa aslinya si guritanya ini, kemudian nanti pada saat menambahkan si sausnya, bumbunya, baru kemudian itu nanti dibumbuin supaya rasanya itu lebih pas gitu. Mudah-mudahan menjawab ya. Tapi kalau misalnya seandainya kamu mau mencoba teknik atau cara baru ya boleh juga ya. Nah, so of course those are the questions. Thank you Chef V for the incredible long talk. I know it's not enough, right? I mean, if we talk about Western Australia, we spend hours until midnight,
It is,
right?
hours.
But
if you come here, it's gonna take you hours and hours just to
days, weeks.
Days, correct.
We do really appreciate you taking the time to bring us through Western Australia and get a little taste of that culinary experiences and all the sightseeing is very beautiful. Thank you so much for also answering our questions. We do really hope that we can get to see you in Western Australia soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and I really hope to see you guys in Western Australia.
Of course.
See you guys.
Jadi buat teman-teman semuanya, mohon maaf nih kalau belum bisa kita jawab pertanyaannya semua ke Chef V, tapi mudah-mudahan semua bisa menjawab ya. Rasa penasaran teman-teman sekalian mau tentang kulineri, tentang wisata di Australia Barat. Nah buat teman-teman yang mungkin masih punya pertanyaan, masih kepo, masih penasaran, langsung aja kalau gitu kunjungi websitenya di www.westernaustralia.com. Mau tahu informasi yang lebih detail seputar Australia Barat, langsung meluncur ke situ ya. Dan campaign-nya ini keren banget. Dan kalau misalnya mau teman-teman mau ikutan posting, bisa untuk langsung menggunakan #adventureawaits. Nah, tidak terasa teman-teman sekalian, kita sudah sampai di penghujung acara. Dan senang banget tuh aku sore hari ini bisa spend time sama kalian semua. Gimana menurut kalian, seru nggak acara virtual jalan-jalan kita sore hari ini? Lumayan ya untuk bisa mengobati kangen-kangen kita. Kita dapat ilmu juga untuk masak yang dish tadi kelihatannya kayaknya wah keren banget, tapi ternyata cara masaknya super simple. Nambah resep masak juga nih buat kita selama di rumah aja. Dan kita berasa jadi kayak keliling virtual di Australia Barat bareng-bareng sama Chef Vincent Lim. Nah kalau tadi kita udah dengerin juga rekomendasi-rekomendasinya, mudah-mudahan teman-teman semua udah sempat nyatet tuh tadi tempat-tempat mana aja sih yang udah dikasih tips kita harus banget kunjungin ke situ, atau restoran apa aja yang harus kita cobain. Icip-icip kuliner asli di tempatnya. Amin. Mudah-mudahan ayo dong kita amin bersama teman-teman semuanya biar kita bisa segera jalan-jalan ya. So of course having Chef Vincent Lim was such an awesome time, such an awesome figure, and we're very glad to have him here today and sharing with us today. So we get to say bye-bye to all of our friends today joining. We get to the opportunity to learn so much about Western Australia. Thank you so much. Good luck on all your future projects and everything. So probably you would like to say bye to the friends?
See you guys soon.
See you guys soon. Hope to see you in future events, right? And so buat teman-teman kumparan semuanya, terima kasih semuanya. Dan Chef V akan pamit dulu pada kesempatan kali ini. Terima kasih. Dan tentunya buat kesempatan kali ini setelah live cooking, Chef V bersama dengan Sasha Lauders, bersama dengan tim yang bertugas hari ini juga izin pamit ya teman-teman semuanya. Tadi kita udah join bareng, kita udah masak bareng. Nah, kita juga udah ngapain lagi tuh? Tadi ngobrol panjang lebar, udah mantengin live-nya tadi dari jam berapa ya? Jam 4. Nah, kalau gitu kita undur diri dulu nih. Kayaknya udah mulai mau siapin makan malam, ya kan? Stay safe and stay healthy ya teman-teman semuanya dimanapun kalian berada. Mudah-mudahan acara kita hari ini bisa sedikit mengobati kerinduan kalian jalan-jalan dan liburan. Dan tapi kami nggak bosan-bosan untuk mengingatkan kalian, kalau bisa stay at home aja because it's the safest place that you could be. But kalau misalnya kalian memang harus keluar rumah, it's okay, we support you too. Tetap bertahan, tetap semangat, tapi jangan lupa untuk tetap ketatkan protokol kesehatannya supaya kita semua tetap terjaga dan tetap aman. Protokol kesehatannya 5M-nya pokoknya jangan lupa ya, supaya kita bisa segera pulih bersama dari pandemi ini. Thank you so much teman-teman kumparan semuanya. Once again, with the adventure awaits. Don't forget to visit Western Australia and have a nice day. Selamat sore, terima kasih semuanya. Bye-bye.